Oh, an article by Business Insider. Here's who has the best chance of becoming the 2020 Democratic presidential nominee. So wow, this starts all the way from 18. John Delaney. If you watch the debates, the second debates, he made a lot of faces. I wonder if we can actually look at the roller coaster of emotions on this one man. Not too surprised to find him in last place. According to polling, he's known by about 20% of Democrats. If you watch the second debates, I'm sure you remember Elizabeth Warren completely destroying Delaney. I don't understand why anybody goes to all the trouble of running for president of the United States just to talk about what we really can't do and shouldn't fight for. Yeah, she destroyed him with that line, and Delaney did not have a response. At least I don't think he had a response. Tim Ryan, another candidate that I expected to be dead last. Apparently he's pro-labor, an alternative to Trump, and is trying to pick up some Rust Belt voters. He's ranked 17, and as the article says, he has failed to generate buzz. It took him months and months and months to just basically barely make it to 1%. If Biden didn't exist, Tim Ryan might just have been a bit higher. Next up, we have Marianne Williamson. She is one of a couple of political outsiders in the current Democratic race that hasn't held any political spots like senator, mayor, hasn't done any of that in the past, and is suddenly running for president. So yeah, she's an outsider. She seems like she has good intentions. She's kind of, people memed her a bit, saying she's like the magical orb lady, because in the first debate she talked about love and like fighting Trump's hate with the power of love. I think she's well spoken. It's just some moments in the first debate that really made her look like a meme. Judging from the interviews I saw of her, she seems like she's not a crazy orb lady that the internet has memed her to be. So she made the first debates, she made the second debates, and like I said, she will not be joining us in the third debates due to not really getting much recognition in the polls. She had to get at least 2% in 4 different polls, and she could not accomplish that. So she will be sitting on the sidelines for, at the very least, the third debates. Mayor Bill de Blasio of New York City. Apparently he has a negative favorability rating. That is very, very sucky. To say the least. That is unfortunate for Bill de Blasio. And a QNAPAC poll conducted in April shows that de Blasio's approval rating was underwater in New York City. In his own city. An overwhelming 76% of New Yorkers, shout out New York, believe he shouldn't run for president. Mayor de Blasio, what are you doing? But yeah, next up we have Steve Bullock of Montana. He raised $1 million within the first 24 hours of announcing he was going to run for president. But Bullock is still polling at 1% and 0%. So whatever he's doing, it is not enough. Perhaps he just doesn't have that appeal. Apparently he did have a solid performance in the July debates. I would say he was decent. Not being able to qualify for the third and fourth debates, that's going to hurt for sure. Then we have number 13, Senator Michael Bennet of Colorado. Back during the July debates, the Yang Discord was going on a tangent saying Michael Bennet sounds like Kermit the Frog. Not going to lie, that was actually a bit funny. But yeah, Michael Bennet, he talked a good amount. He got a good amount of speaking time in the July debates. Honestly, he didn't really catch my eye, despite how much he talks. Let's read a little bit here. He's been in the Senate for 10 years. He's a savvy politician. And apparently, out of all the people with political experience, he's the worst polling and the least recognized. That's a big oof for Michael Bennet. Apparently, he's only gone up in these rankings because the people below him have dropped out. That's actually a bit funny. Number 12, Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard, I've seen her interviews. She is well-spoken. She reminds me a bit of Yang. She's definitely big on foreign policy and military. Like, I think she was a veteran, I want to say, for at least over a decade. She, served for over a decade, and now she's a veteran, obviously. She's from Hawaii. Apparently, a lot of respondents in the Business Insider's polling say they're actually unhappy with her being the nominee. She's not been able to consolidate support. She was one of the first to enter the race, but is still polling at 1% or around 1%. Her fan base is pretty passionate for her, that's for sure. And of course, she did not make it to the fall debates. She got the 130,000 individual donation requirement, but she did not get 4 different polls getting at least 2%. So we will not be seeing her in 2 weeks on September 12th. But there's still a chance we will see her in October if she gets just 2 more polls within the next month. And there we go, Tom Steyer. Oh boy. Quick overview of Tom Steyer off the top of my head. Democratic candidate, obviously. Billionaire. I'm going to say it again. Billionaire. And has already funded tens of millions of dollars into his own campaign. More than any other Democratic candidate. More than Trump. He was this close to buying a spot. Not literally, but pretty much buying himself a spot in the September debates. This man has spent reportedly $100,000 a day, on some days even closer to $200,000 on Facebook ads, Twitter ads, and TV ads, I'm pretty sure, in the early polling states such as Nevada, Iowa, North Dakota, and New Hampshire, pretty sure. And he almost got away with it too. He not only reached the 130,000 donation individual requirement, but he had gotten 3 out of 4. He was 1 poll away from basically buying his way and brute forcing his way to the debate stage, but he did not make it. He ended up falling short. Seems like he was a couple 100,000 short. So, Beto O'Rourke. I'm pretty sure his first name isn't Beto. His name is Robert O'Rourke. He is Robert Francis O'Rourke. I do not know why he goes by Beto. Former representative of Texas. He served for 3 terms. He actually almost unseated Ted Cruz in Texas in 2018. I give him respect for almost taking a Republican seat in the House of Representatives. According to polling, 3% of the people who responded believe O'Rourke can beat Trump, and around 30% would be satisfied if he was the Democratic nominee. His numbers have gone from 6% in April to 3% in August. That is a bad decline for our boy. I'm sure he's a nice guy. Then we have Senator Amy either Klobuchar or Klobuchar. Or Klobuchar. One of those is right, I think. And she is from Minnesota. Honestly, she's been super under my radar. I honestly barely know anything about her. Apparently only a third or 33% of the Democratic electorate actually know her. She's also one of the candidates to have a better chance of beating Trump, apparently. According to Business Insider's polling, she's overshadowed by the other 8 candidates above her in the rankings for sure. She can only get about 1% in polling. But I'll never get how she somehow magically qualified for the fall debates. I don't know. At number 8, we have former Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, Julian Castro. This guy right here. So I actually don't know too much about him, but it says here he became a breakout candidate in June, I'm guessing the June debates, when he distinguished himself as an authority on immigration and proved himself to be smart and savvy. About 40% of Democrat voters actually know he exists, and of that 40%, 25% say they'd be okay with him being the Democratic nominee. A lot of Castro supporters would actually be fine if other candidates won over him or became the nominee instead of him. Apparently he's already been pushing TV ads, so that is something to keep in mind, and probably a reason we'll be seeing his face at the 3rd debates on September 12th, which is from 8 p.m. Eastern Time to 11 p.m. Eastern Time, a 3-hour debate instead of a 2-hour debate. Should be interesting. And here we go, starting to get up the ladder, like the actual contenders. Well, possible contenders. Some of these people, I don't know. For example, Pete Buttigieg. Oh, my bad. Mayor Pete Buttigieg of South Bend, Indiana. This guy right here, if he won, he would be the first gay president. He has a husband, and I guess we would have the first man ever. Apparently, Business Insider is saying he's having a moment. I do like the facts, so I'm going to pull up the facts right here. Where's Pete? Where's Pete? Where's Pete? Oh, Buttigieg. Let's look for dark purple. There's Buttigieg. Yeah, Buttigieg has kind of been not really having a strong moment, more so kind of not really going anywhere. Like since June, he's been chilling at like the 5 to 6%, with sometimes going a little bit higher than 6. But yeah, he's been chilling. I personally think he has peaked. His highest ever polling number was 8.4% in early May. I personally think he won't reach those numbers again. And to say that Buttigieg is having a quote unquote moment, I don't know about that, Business Insider. I don't know about that. But who knows? Maybe he'll have a fantastic third debate performance. We'll have to see. April, he was ranked third behind Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders. And he's now at 5% in fifth place. Like I said, he is the gatekeeper of the 5 to 6% area in terms of polling. And yeah, I would say he's in seventh right now. I got my Yang hat right here. I mean, I've been wearing it the entire time. It says Matt. It means Make America Think Harder. This is the Democratic candidate I'm currently rooting for. I joined the Yang Gang, which he calls his supporters, back in June when he was polling at virtually 0 to 1%. Now he's starting to see 3%. And after the September debates, we could potentially be seeing 5%. I think his growth has been very interesting and amazing to see. He has no former background in politics, pretty much a nobody, a literal nobody in terms of politics. He was never a senator for a number of years. He was never a representative. He was never a mayor. A complete outsider, nobody in terms of politics, of course. And finds himself now at number 6 out of 18 candidates. If there's anything that he wants you to know, if there's just one thing, it has to be that he is the random Asian man running for president who wants to give everyone $1,000 a month, starting from the age of 18 until the day you expire. He's not a favorite, but his online army of supporters and meme creators known as the Yang Gang. Yang has been able to sustain the buzz around his campaign for weeks despite his lack of political experience, has built a grassroots network of over 200,000 unique donors. He's now finding himself in 6th place since he qualified for the September and October debates, and has been able to successfully play the media, and has also been proven himself to be a savvy campaigner and good debater. He is a great debater. But yeah, number 6, Andrew Yang, and after the September debates, expect him to not be at 6 anymore, specifically 5, because you know who is at 5? Senator Cory Booker of New Jersey. I don't know how Cory Booker honestly ranks above Yang, but hey, we'll take it. So Booker is chilling at 3 to 4%. A lot of people that like Booker also like a lot of other candidates. 70% of Booker supporters would be happy with Biden, okay. 76% would be happy with Harris, and 74% would be happy with Warren. Sure, let's put him in 5th place. Let's put him over Yang and Buttigieg, even though Buttigieg and now Yang are polling higher than Cory Booker. Let's just put him 5. Like, for real, why is Buttigieg at 7? Number 4, Senator Kamala Harris of California. Oh boy, I consider her the female Hillary Clinton in terms of baggage and in terms of she knows when to get her hands dirty, but at the same time she has charisma. So she finds herself at position 4. 42% of the poll respondents believe she can beat Trump. Okay. Apparently she enjoys the greatest support among other candidates' support. If Buttigieg, Castro, Booker, Klobuchar, Gillibrand, well, Gillibrand already did, but if they were to drop out, it seems like Harris might get a boost from that. So she finds herself in 4th place behind Sanders, Warren, and Biden, aka the Big 3. And number 3, Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont. My personal second choice behind Yang. Perhaps if Andrew Yang did not exist, I would be wearing a Bernie hat. Who knows? So 2016, he was a underdog against Hillary Clinton. Was somewhat close to beating Hillary Clinton. Now, 2020, Sanders finds himself as a possible frontrunner. One of three current frontrunners. 47% of Sanders supporters, or actually polling respondents, think Sanders would beat Trump in a general election, and only 27% thinks he would lose one. Half of Biden's supporters apparently would be just fine with a Sanders nominee. 20% of Democrats support Sanders. That is interesting. Number 2 and number 1 is not in the order I expected, to be honest. But let's continue. Former Vice President Joe Biden, running on name recognition pretty much for being Obama's vice president for 8 years. I feel like that is the reason he has such a strong, and when I mean strong, he has such a strong lead over Sanders and Warren, the 2 other frontrunners. He announced all the way back in April, and he's been in the U.S. Senate for 36 years, and the only candidate who more than half of Democrats believe can win against Trump. That is interesting. That's a lot of faith in Joe Biden. Leads the field with 33% in one poll, but currently averaging at 28.9% across many polls. He has a lot of gaps, a lot of setbacks, somehow remains steady, but the next 5 to 6 months could tell a very different story. I mean, heck, this upcoming September 3-hour debate can tell a different story. And then number 1, not who I quite expected to be at number 1, but number 1, Senator Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts, is who this Business Insider Power Ranking article believes has the current best chance of winning the Democratic primaries. Best known candidate who has not previously run for president and is considered to be a strong general election contender against Trump. Warren overlaps considerably with Sanders and Biden's bases, with 50% of Biden supporters and 57% of Sanders supporters also fine with her being a nominee. And this, I agree with the article, that does put her in a good position if one of those other frontrunner campaigns ends up falling through. And yeah, she has been enjoying a surge in the polls. Warren is the brown line on this polling graph. She's been starting to sneak up on Biden. Starting to sneak up on Sanders. So yeah, they're kind of neck and neck right now. That is the article. That's it. That's the article. Didn't take too long at all, right, y'all? But yeah, that is the power rankings. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in just a little bit under 2 weeks on September 12th in the 3rd Democratic debates. It's going to be very interesting to see. I think the top 10 is going to be shaken quite a bit. Especially for number 6, aka Andrew Yang, just saying. No bias here. But yeah, I think we're in for a surprise at these September debates. I truly do think we are.